Hopefully that didn't get cut off by the stream starting. But welcome to a very weirdly timed stream. Our first one back from my trip. I'm finally back home, but the plan was to do this at 2 p.m. So about 10 hours from now, and I'm sorry to anyone who was hoping to attend at that point. But unfortunately, my condo, the condo that I rent at, is going to be replacing the windows in my basement, and normally my desk is right in front of my window. That's why you can see parts of my basement that you normally don't get to see. You can see the door to the laundry room back there and the stairs. That's all new. But I can't exactly tell them to go away when they're coming tomorrow. So I figured rather than having to cancel the stream, if we're in the middle of it and they show up trying to fix the window, I'd rather just do it now and make sure that they're not going to show up. But yeah, I'm trying to adjust the music a bit. It should be okay there. But yeah, so in the stream, it's going to be a pretty quick one. We're going to be choosing our roster for the next community challenge, which should be starting soon. For those of you who haven't seen the community challenge before, it is a playthrough where all the units that I'm able to use are chosen by the community. So they're all the named units. So if you've seen the regular preview playthroughs, I'm not allowed to build the regular units. I'm only allowed to build the ones that have submitted names. So those will come from the patrons, channel members, Twitch subs, as well as some viewers. Normally viewers don't get to name ships or infantry or vehicles or whatever else. But in this one, there is a section of them that are pulled from the broader community, so that's why it's the community challenge. And if a unit dies, it is gone. So my entire roster, all the units that I'm going to be able to pick, are going to be essentially chosen by all of you. And usually this is done with a theme. So in the past, we've done Corey's Chrono Shifters, where we had the Clone Wars factions, were the factions that people could pick between. We've done Imperials before. We've done a weird assortment of like minor faction units. The theme this time is going to be entirely random. So on the spreadsheet you can see in front of you, I have a list of all of the almost all of the space and ground units in Thrawn's Revenge and Fall of the Republic. So here we have the ground units. Up here we have the space units. And we're going to be putting those into a randomizer. So we are going to get some units from each of these categories. So you may be able to see the numbers like SSDs. There's 3 types we're going to get. Battlecruisers, there's 3 types we're going to get. Corvettes, we're going to get 6 types. So that's basically how we're going to do it. We could end up with a very good roster out of this, or an absolute trash roster out of this. So, yeah. What are the condo shenanigans? I think my window's getting replaced. We moved in and the window was broken. They were saying they were going to redo all the windows that year. This was 4 years ago, and they're finally getting around to it now. But we are going to start off. I think we'll start with some of the ground units. So I'm going to plug in this whole list of infantry. So we're going to get our infantry first. I'm just going to make sure that is showing all of them. Yes. All right. And I'm going to have to plug that in over here. I was testing it earlier. And the website I'm using for the random picking is not the best. But God, the lighting is terrible in this as well. But, oh well. So yeah, so where it says Corellian Corvette, that's where the winners are going to be coming up. And they'll get highlighted on the list. So let's get our first one. It is going to be... Alright, we're getting some Hapen Commandos first. So I guess I can maybe throw in the mercenaries. Whether they end up being heavy or light. Eh. 'Cause I think they should be set up well enough for use there. And let's get a second one. Hut Guard as our second one. That, okay. That's something. Oops. And I need to spell phalanx properly. Alright, that's 2 of our 4. We got 2 more. And let's see. What would be next? Our third one is Phase 2 Clone Troopers. Alright. That's pretty good. That's a nice solid core one. Considering the HRG, like the commandos, you don't want to just have commandos. And I have no idea what the Hut Guards are like, or if they're even ready yet. I was kind of hoping for something a bit more exciting with it, but you know what? I'll take something solid. And people like clones, so that's good for me financially. And we got B2s. So we're going to have clones and B2s up next to each other. We got super battle droids. We got Her Majesty's Royal Favored Commandos. There's an F in there somewhere. We got Hapens. We got clones. We got droids. We got Hut stuff. If the Hut Guards aren't ready, I'll make sure they're ready by the time that starts. Maybe I'll do a... Just in case it's not possible to get the Hut stuff ready, I'll do a backup for them. And that's going to be Siruvi. Maybe I'll put that up to a poll as well, even if they are ready. So chances are that's going to be Siruvi instead of Hut Guard. So, you know what? That's some solid infantry for us. I'm okay with that. We got some interesting one. Oh, this is actually slightly backwards. So the Hapen, I made a mistake on when I put this together. These are supposed to be the commandos over here. Which means it's actually the Hapen Royal Guards there. Yeah, because they're not in... Yeah, okay, so we got Hapens, we got battle droids, we got clones, and we got either Huts or Siruvi. And let's see what we got for our spec infantry. We're going to get 2 specialized infantry here. I didn't necessarily go super consistent with how I put together the different categories, because I wanted to have a relatively good chance of having something messy, rather than just like the same stuff with a few differences. We got SD-10s. For the next one. And what is our second specialized infantry going to be? We are looking at... Okay, we're getting the commandos anyways, so that worked out well for them. That's some kind of cheating, I think. So, a good infantry selection. It's good. And let's go into our light vehicles. We see where that is right now. What's our first vehicle? The Water Dragon. Okay, like is Valerie choosing these? Assuming this is going to be like previous challenges where once that unit dies, they stay dead. Nope. It is going... So, once we have this roster, the the names that like people are going to pick within this roster to name their units. So it is going to be exactly like the prior ones. This is just how we're putting together the theme of the roster. So when it comes to like the individual setup of the units or the actual composition of how many we'll have of each, that'll be down to what people request. Kind of like how before the roster was the Clone Wars stuff and then people picked the units within that. This is just how we're getting what the categories are going to be. But we got water dragons. I'm going to put up the next one. So where's water dragon in this? Right there. SD6. Where even... All right. I'm not 100% sure if those are set up through what I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention this, I don't think, but it is a single planet start. So I'm going to adapt one of the existing factions into it, and I'll probably use a modified and bigger version of their single planet start map. And I'm going to scale that based on how many entries we end up with as well. Because I do want to have a reasonable chance of us losing. So let's get the next one. It's not like the SD10s, it's a different thing. We got the SX20, okay. Water Dragon, SD6, SX20. Let's get number 3 of 7, or number 4 of 7 rather. We already have number 3. TIE Mauler, alright. Then we're going to have a TIE Mauler. We're going to have an ATST. Alright, so that's pretty solid. And what's that? 1, 2, 3, 5. Wait. Yeah, we got 2 more to go. 2 more to go. T1B. And our final light vehicle will be the EaW. All right. So we have a reasonable mix there. Not necessarily the best anti-vehicle setup out of our lights, but we have good infantry for that. And we're going to have some heavy vehicles, so it's I'm liking our infantry better than I'm liking our vehicles so far, if I'm being entirely honest. So let's see what we got for our first heavy vehicle. That is going to be the T4B. All right. I mean, I guess I can add the Proto. I do have A6s there. I'll add the Protodeca. Alright, so T4B. We got 1 of 6. The next one is TIE Crawler. Alright, we're gonna have the Sentry Tank and the TIE Mauler. That's kind of boring so far. Like, more than anything, the light vehicles were just boring. And so far, I'm getting that from the... Yeah, the SPM-AT is there. Okay, we got the 1H. This is all very similar in role. We're halfway through. What are we gonna get? MAF. Alright, this is really good. I was afraid we'd end up without a gunship. So I'm really happy with that. I would have actually cried if we weren't gonna get a gunship for this. And an MTT. Alright, that's okay. That's okay. I'll take that. I would have maybe preferred... No, I don't think I would have preferred an MMT for that. I'm okay with an EMTT. Where is it in here? There's an MMT again. God. Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got one more heavy vehicle. And the AAT. All right. So what's that look like for us so far? We have the AAT, MMT, or MTT rather, MAF, TIE Crawler, 1H, and T4B. So those are all very anti-vehicle heavy vehicles and very anti-infantry light vehicles. So that's functional for us. Not the most exciting, but let's see what we get for our advanced vehicle options. For our heaviest boys. We are going to get, for our first one, we have the UTAT. Okay, that's one that doesn't get too much use in a lot of the playthroughs, honestly. So I'm okay with that one. That's not bad for me. And this idea is an adaptation of something that Porto suggested. So I feel like it's one that we can revisit with different rosters. I mean, the MTT, it's more of a brick than an anti-something. But Falchion, that's an interesting one to get. That was one I was kind of hoping to get. Like, I was hoping to get that and the X1 Viper the most, or the Turbo Laser, or the Turbo Blimp. So if we can get the Turbo Blimp, I'll actually be really happy. If we don't get the Turbo Blimp, I'll be sad. C10. Oh well. The C10 is the turbo laser tower that the Pentastar Layman has. It is most importantly not the turbo blimp. Would I get the turbo blimp? No, I would. Okay, it's fine. All right. Well, that's our ground roster. So, not a bad ground roster, I don't think. I think we can work with that. We got the UTAT, we got the RX 2000 Falchion, which is the stun tank from the Clone Wars. We got the C10 for our heaviest vehicles. Then we get the AAT, the MTT, the MAF, the TIE Crawler, 1H, and T4B. That's our heavy vehicles. Light vehicles, we get the SD6, the EaW, Water Dragon, SX20, TIE Mauler, ATST, and T1B. And then for specialized infantry, we have the Hapen Commandos and the SD10. For our infantry, we have B2s, Hapen Royal Guards, P2 Clone Troopers, and either Hut Guard or probably Seruvi. So there's a couple things in there that are not standard. So that's nice. So that, yeah, we're okay with that. We're okay with that. So let's move up to space, and we're gonna get 6 Corvette types, which is a lot of Corvette types, but you know, we have a lot to choose from. Yeah, we're gonna be without artillery, which is, there was some artillery in every category. We could have ended up theoretically with all artillery, but we ended up with a Corellian Corvette. The Brickian Frigate would be one that I'm looking for in this. We get the Raider 2 as well. All right. Because with the Corvettes, we could end up with like heavily anti-fighter, or we could end up with some anti-ship options in that as well. And it seems like that's more the direction we're going with this. So of our 6 so far, we got 3, and 2 of them are kind of anti-ship oriented. As far as Corvettes go. 92 Assassin, that's still along the same thing. We're going very Corellian. Ubrikian Frigate, or Kuro, please. Or Bidem, actually. Hard Cell Tender, alright. That actually could be really good. If we get a bunch of people getting the those Corvettes and then we have some hard cell tenders around them, that could do some damage. Why is it in there twice? Who cares? We'll get rid of it for the second one. We've got one more, and it is... Nope, no duplicates. Oh right, fuck. It's the shitty light minstrel. Not shitty, it's the fighter tent. It's all valid. I got really excited. The wrong reasons. Okay, I need to spell that correctly. Light minstrel. It is something new, something fancy. We got Corellian Buccaneer, Corellian Corvette, CR-92 Assassin, Hard Cell Tender, which will be very sad if we don't get any carriers, Raider 2, and Light Minstrel. So let's see what our light frigate options are going to be. Because we got 10 options out of like fucking 80, 75 for this one. Oop, that didn't copy. I accidentally Control-C'd on nothing. First option is the Trenchant. So we got the Trenchant as our first one. We've got the Nova Cruiser refit. That's the combat-oriented one for our second. We got the Interdictor Cruiser, so we're gonna have an Interdictor. That's good. A boring one, the base game, one people have been playing with since the base game. The Pursuit. Spelled the parameter wrong. I think the Pursuit's near the bottom of this list, yes. Pursuit, Trenchant, Interdictor, Nova, and the Gorath. Okay, that's really good. That's 5 of our 10. Our 6th is going to be the MC-30C. All right, another base game player coming through. And I think what we might do if we have another community challenge chosen this way is I'll leave out the ones that came in on this one. So we can get a bit more variety. Did you know that Canadian residents save up to 25% on select sailings on the Disney Cruise Line? Because now I know that, thanks to the ads. Action 6, okay. That's a fitting 6th one for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's actually the 7th. So the 8th is the Belarus. Okay, that's a bit of overlap with the Gorath. I mean, not the most, but it's a bit. Quasar. Okay, we do have a carrier. That's good. We have a carrier in this range. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we have one more. So what's our 10th one gonna be? Ads. All right. So on the low end here, we have a fair bit of damage between the Corvettes that are very anti-ship focused, depending on what people actually end up picking. Because, like, we get all these options, but it really depends on what people end up picking, right? So you can't necessarily take the distribution too seriously yet. We get 8 heavy frigates. Still a lot of heavy frigate options. It was hard to decide exactly how many to put in each category, but I think these are reasonable numbers. Alright, our heavy frigate, we're getting the battle dragon. The Hapens really like leading off each category. This is very similar to our last playthrough in a way. If I'm not, so the fighters will just be the default for whichever faction I override the slot for. I'm not sure what that's going to be. I might end up doing... some other setup for it, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Because I don't want to get too deep into the reeds with it, but... Let's get number 2. We have the Dragon Heavy Cruiser. The Altor is in the pool. It's the top of the battle cruisers there. The Dragon Heavy Cruiser. For number 2. Number 3 is the Neutron Star. Okay. So not the heaviest heavies yet. Which is potential problem. Baomu. Okay, we do have a tender, which is gonna go good with our smaller guys there if we get some tender picks. Or if we get some good picks at that tier. Like, that'd pair really well with the Battle Dragon as well. That is the Empire of the Hand's medium tender. So if we get, like, an Aphodio... If we get, like, the Aphodio, the Altor... that kind of stuff in our capitals, then we could have a clear theme going on here. Battle Horn. Okay, this is... really... yeah. Our damage is not coming from these. As far as, like, the direct ship damage. They're not bad, it's just... that's not the core focus of the fleet there. Providence. That's more fighters. With the Battle Horn and the Providence. More. We got 2 more. Gladiator 2 and... have the Assault Frigate Mark II. Okay, that's really good too. So we don't have anything that's like super tanky on this end. Or like super powerful, like a Recusant, or rather a Lucadal core ship, a Pulsar. Those could have been a bit more specialized. This isn't a poll, Aryan. It's a randomizer. But the Assault Frigate and the Dragon are 2 things that you don't really see too much. Even the Battle Horn. So that's kind of neat. Like, the only stuff in this that would have been a bit more rare would be like the Shri, the Lwek, maybe some of the Hapen stuff. We already got the Battle Dragon for that. Super transports. So not a bad setup so far. Let's see what our capitals are going to be like, though. This is going to determine a lot of what our playstyle can look like. We get 5 of them. So we're probably going to get something that's super combat-oriented. Alright, we're getting the MC-90. That's a solid one. Like, if we end up with Aphodio, Mist Carrier, Interdictor Star Destroyer, Mon Mothma, and, like, Recusant Dreadnought, that would be very different from what it seems like we're shaping up with here, which is a New Republic roster. Like, those two pair together so well. Endurance. What the fuck is good? Is this just the New Republic's? Alright, well. We get two more. Recusant Dreadnought. And what's our final one gonna be? Ephodio, not the Adodio. We got the Ephodio, which is the one that I've been saying the most. So I actualized worked. So Ephodio, Endurance, MC90, Nebula, and Recusant Dreadnought. So that's a really good slate of capitals, but it's not a particularly tanky slate of capitals. And the Ephodio, if we get a couple of Ephodios and Baomus, we can make something happen with Battle Dragons and the lower tier units as well. So I think that's actually a good setup for us. What are our battle cruisers going to be? We got 3 options for battle cruisers out of about 20 total. So our first battle cruiser is the Mediator. That's a powerful one. Like, there's the option with battle cruisers to get stuff like the Providence Dreadnought, which would be like lower tier. If it was like the Providence Dreadnought, the Allegiance, and Home 1, then we have less battle cruiser reliance than you'd think. But with the Mediator and the Serannon, that's something. And finally, the Subjugator. That's really good. That's going to be really good for taking out stations. Because the thing with the stations is any losses we take, we keep. It doesn't matter if we have the credits to rebuild stuff. So if we have something that can bust through the stations fairly easily, like a Subjugator, that's good. Yeah, that's a nice setup for the battle cruisers, I think. Like, the Impeller would have been nice to get just for giggles, but it's an okay one. All right. And this is our final section, the Super Star Destroyers. So this, technically, we can get up to 3. But the actual uses of them depends on how many Senate patrons there are. So, no Malevolence. The Subjugator... Malevolence is a specific instance of the Subjugator class. So, Subjugator and Malevolence is the same thing. But with the SSDs, we may not actually have one of each type, because there's not 3 Senate patron tiers right now. So it's really just what Triton picks, I think, at the moment. Okay, the Executor. Boring as shit. That's fine. Like, let's see, an Armadia, a Mandator 3. All right, that's kind of what I was saying. And our final unit for the roster is Armadia. All right, so we did have the Armadia in the last one as well. So it's not that different the last time there. So let's see what we ended up with for our roster. If I copy and paste those over here, they... No. Doop. 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 Okay, no, it doesn't do that. So, For our space roster, we have the Corellian Buccaneer, Corellian Corvette, CR-92, Hardcell Tender, Raider 2, and Light Minstrel, which means a lot of anti-ship in our Corvettes. For our light frigates, we have Action 6, the ADS, the MC-30C, Nova Cruiser Refit, Quasar, Gorath, Belarus, Interdictor Cruiser, Trenchant, and Pursuit. So a lot of anti-ship there as well, with some carrier options, which is good. Which continues on the heavy frigates, where we have the Assault Frigate Mark II, the Baumut, the Battle Dragon, the Dragon Heavy Cruiser, Gladiator II, Providence, Neutron Cruiser, Battlehorn, and that's it. Then at the capital level, we have the Aphodio, the Endurance, the MC-90, the Nebula, and the Recusant Dreadnought. Then at the Battle Cruiser level, we have the Mediator, Subjugator, and the Serannon. And at the SSD tier, we have the Armadia, Executor, and Mandator 3. Thank you, Quick Gaming, for becoming a Sun Crusher here on YouTube. Very appreciated. So you'll be able to pick one of those as well. Let's see. On the ground tier, or level, on the ground floor, for our infantry, we have B2s, Hapen Royal Guards, Phase 2 Clone Troopers, Hut Guard if they're ready, and the Seruvi soldiers. It's probably, you know what, I'm just going to say right now, it's going to be Seruvi. It's Seruvi. So we got clones, we got dinosaurs, we got Hapens, we got B2s, we got the Hapen Commandos and the SD-10s for our special guys. We got the SD-6, EaW, Water Dragon, SX-20, Time Mauler, ATST, and T-1B. For light vehicles, the AAT, MTT, MAF, TIE Crawler, 1H, and T4B for our heavy vehicles. And for the advanced vehicles, we have the UTAT RX 2000 Falchion, C10, and that's it. So that's our roster. That is what we're going to be going with there. I do have heroes for this playthrough. For the community challenges where some of the higher tier patrons are able to make their unit a hero. So that comes with like a special paint job and an icon and name and stuff in the playthrough. So there will be a video dedicated to just explaining how to actually pick your unit, as well as with the specific instructions on everything. Explanation of the game mode. Shorter version of it than this video right now that I'm doing at 4:30, half asleep. But yeah, they'd be able to pick a couple traits. I generally wouldn't do it's usually just a tier 3 or 2 command tier, just depending on what's going on there. But yeah, so there will be more specific information coming up soon. We're going to be starting this playthrough this month. I'm going to have the exact numbers on how many regular viewers are going to be able to get some submissions in, and I'm going to try to do this via a Google Sheet submission for those as well, just to make it a bit easier on handling the submissions. But hope you're all looking forward to this upcoming playthrough. There will be the proper missing episodes of the CIS playthrough coming out this afternoon, as well as on Thursday, so that'll actually be out by Thursday, and we'll have other regular episodes coming out for the Imperials after that. So Friday should be the next Imperial playthrough episode, and with the CIS one out of the way, it makes room for this. So we're going to be back to some regular streaming as well. I'm going to be starting Baldur's Gate with some people. Not entirely sure which group's going to be starting soon, but yeah, there were 2 CIS episodes I missed, is what turned out to happen, and today was an absolute shit show. So it's first day back where I was actually able to work. The whole condo shenanigans happened and a bunch of other stuff, so it was just a whole thing. But yeah, we should be back on track for the rest of the year with streaming, with videos. I'm going to have a dedicated stream schedule that I'm going to be sticking to as closely as possible, getting in more of everything as we lead into a house down payment. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you're looking forward to the playthrough, and hope to see you next time. Have a good night, and if you're in my time zone, go to bed, because that's what I'm going to be doing.